Better late than never, they say, Cooper, and it boggles the mind. We've never done this comparison, but we're finally getting to it. It's the famous 0018 versus the famous 0028. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm C-triple-O-P-E-R Greenberg. Am I right, guys?
That's
right
it.
on the spot.
That's it.
Off the dome on that one.
Thank you so much. We are here with ALAMO Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications to like our videos. If you want to support the channel, you can visit our spring store. It's linked below in the description. And check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts. So it's Alamo Music, and then we're going to do Alamode Music. Today, we are talking about some delightfully delicious dessert style guitars. I don't know where I was going with that other than the Alamo.
It's all good. We're doing our thing.
These are famous Martin guitars, some of the most popular Martin guitars. And I hit up Cooper today. I'm going to tell him myself, okay?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, we should do a comparison with a 0018 versus a 0018. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, we've never done one before. But this is via text.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? It took me a bit to go like, oh, that would be very meta.
Yeah, we're just comparing that one to another one.
That could be an interesting action. You know what? Tell me if you ever want to see that. See if we grab a bunch of the same model and different serial numbers and how different they sound.
I think honestly, that's not that bad of an idea. Because they sometimes sound different, but these two definitely sound different.
They definitely sound different.
And the intended idea was even better than comparing two 0018s.
Yes. Yeah. So 0018 versus 0028. I actually wanted to do this video a long time ago, before you were here. And I think we never did because we rarely had one of these in stock long enough.
Yeah.
I've said on this channel, if you go back in the history of it, the 0018 is one of my absolute favorite guitars that Martin makes. And so I've long been enamored with this, and because of the way ordering and supply and fulfillment and everything works, we'd usually get them in, and they'd sell, and we wouldn't get a chance to do this video. So I'm glad we finally get around to it.
So my main question here, which I think is an interesting one, is 18 series versus 28 series. Mm-hmm. There's a price difference in the wood, but there's also a decidedly different aesthetic from the 18 series to the 28 series. And, there's not maybe an answer for this, but why? Why can't we get a just standard 0018 with herringbone and a volute and all that stuff? But that's a more stripped down guitar than this, slightly. It's not that crazy. It's not like we're dealing with 18s versus 45s. However, if you want a spruce mahogany, you're getting 18 series, and it's going to be pretty simple. Versus if you're in the rosewood game, you basically start at 21, but really for a 00, you're starting here, and then you can go up. So interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's unfair. I mean, here's what we're talking about. That gets a volute. This doesn't get a volute. This is tortoiseshell binding, right?
I think it's black. Just
black binding.
Black binding.
And that is cream binding. This has a basic, thing on the back. That one is the nice Beltron. That one's herringbone. No herringbone.
Herringbone, and it's
dot inlays versus.
And it's weird because even if you're doing a custom with Martin, you're starting with 18 style or 28 style or 35 style, whatever. 18 style in general is just that. Simplicity. It's 18 style, just dot inlay, black binding, simple purflings, simple rosette, and really no back strip or anything.
And 21s are really like this too. I mean, they don't make a 0021, but an OM21 is kind of like a rosewood guitar with 18 appointments almost.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with history, like most things with Martin. And I also think it has to do with the perception of rosewood over mahogany. Rosewood is perceived as a higher end, more expensive wood than mahogany. I think the truth of that in our current climate is backward.
Yeah.
Thomas Ripson, the new CEO from Martin, has said on record a few times that the supply of Honduran mahogany is challenged, and I don't think people appreciate, the effect that is going to have on mahogany availability. And it really probably comes down to the aesthetic. Mahogany's pretty plain looking compared to the varied grain of rosewood and the rich dark colors of it. That is, I think it's mostly a visual thing, and it could be also a bit of a tone thing. We've said on this a lot of times, spruce and rosewood is a classic singer-songwriter guitar. If you're not playing with other people, it's complementary to your voice. It provides you with nice lows and highs and overtones and all of that thing. But I'm going to start a petition for mahogany getting more appreciation.
Yeah, and we've been showing off a lot of really good mahogany stuff. Yairis, FG9, and FS9Ms. Even that Addy Top Taylor kind of 314 custom, but not really 314.
Well, and we like mahogany so much, we did our own custom run with Martin on OM 18s, which is something that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
With some cool mahogany.
There's just so much there to love, and when a mahogany back and sided guitar is done well, it's really hard to beat. And with these, basically everything besides the aesthetic and the back and side wood is going to be the same. Sitka spruce tops, Sitka spruce bracing, ebony on the fingerboard and bridge, same Grover open gears. The construction is going to be very much the same.
Neck shape is the same. Not only is the bracing pattern is the same. Like it's all very, very similar with, like you said, minor aesthetic appointments differences and different cases. And I tend to prefer the 18 style case over the molded case on the 28s. That's
18 style's got that nice olive fur on the inside.
Yep.
The Martin's been around for 191 years now.
It's on the headstock. You can do the math.
191 years. And they've gone through changes, and I'm assuming they'll be around for another 191 years. At least one day there's going to be some hotshot CEO that gets in there and they switch everything up like guitar manufacturers love to do and just change history. I'd like to see it just be OOM or OOR, and you choose your style. Because I think a lot of people would get a OOM 28 or something like that. Just give me the option to have a little herringbone on my mahogany outside the custom shop.
Well, that's what I've thought about doing. I have thought about ordering a custom guitar. Here's how I do it. 0018, herringbone, maple bound with the otherwise 28 appointments.
That's good for me.
But it's an 18. It's got your mahogany and spruce. So
it'd be a top seller. These are both classics. Don't know why we haven't done the comparison yet, but I got to play both, as I often do in the store. Pick up one of these guitars because I love them, and there's a little finger picking in there, there's a little strumming in there, and a little lead lick action, so you get the full experience. Because I don't know if you've ever heard either of these guitars before, but side by side, take a listen.
So there you have it. The beautiful music stylings of Cooper Greenberg. That doesn't really roll off the tongue as well. And from a marketing standpoint on your music, you might reconsider.
Yeah, I gotta
Could be
switch
cool
it.
though. Could be like HER.
Mhm.
Put dots between each. Come up with an acronym. I'll be
Maybe
on.
that'll get me to the top of the charts.
So there you have it. Very big differences in the tone of this guitar. I do want to point out something because Josh always takes beautiful B-roll, and while we're talking about it, we're showing it off. So I don't want anyone confused. I did grab a 0018 that's a pre-owned model for this demo. It's a recent version, so it's not really old, but it was
Like
a trade-in.
23, right?
Yeah,
Something
and
like
it's
that.
got
Maybe 24.
it's got someone added a strap button to it. So if you
Wow.
go, hey, I don't
I
remember
don't
having
think
a
so.
strap button. That's because they don't. But it's a common addition. So what did you think? Huge difference tonally.
Big difference in tone. I play more often on mahogany guitars than rosewood. I do have one of each. I have another mahogany on its way to me right now. I paid for the Martin today. It's coming.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later. All I'll say is I'm used to the sound of mahogany in my own playing, and it's very warm and fuzzy and comforting to me, and so I love it. However, I will say that when I put together my Dream Martin, that I have one of those, it was rosewood guitar. I love them both, and I think these are both really good examples of just kind of the true sound of these guitars. I think right now I lean towards mahogany, but that it does what it's supposed to do really well. It was way more crisp on the high end and had a little bit more bass, and it does create that valley for the vocalist. But this just had a little bit more of that workhorsey mahogany vibe to me, and they're both great.
So you handed me a piece of paper the other day, which I haven't given back to you, and it was asking me like my favorite guitars and certain things.
Yeah.
These are two of my favorite guitars. Period.
Yeah.
I like them both. It'd be tough if I could have both, I would have both.
Yeah.
I tend to lean this way because of the stuff that I tend to play. I don't play as fast as Cooper, and I play a lot of fingerstyle stuff, and I let things kind of ring, and some of that's because I like it, and some of it's because that's what I can do. But I usually gravitate towards rosewood for that reason, and have thought about picking one of these up repeatedly. I actually had one for a bit and had to sell it. I love that guitar, and there's a thing that you can do with that's just different. The way it articulates, and the volume and the response and the warmth. It's kind of like picking your favorite child.
Yeah. And they've both stood the test of time and will continue, I think, to be sort of the mold for this style. A lot more options with rosewood.
Yeah.
You can get OM scale length. You can get pearl with 42. You can do a lot more within Martin's current offerings with a spruce rosewood guitar. Right now, it's D18 and a 0018. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Or 00.
A double O.
They don't do an OM.
They do a single O.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be shorter scales.
You can tell how many of those we crank out by the fact that I forgot that both of those exist. They're great.
They are great.
All right? And you got modern deluxe versions, I guess. So,
Yeah.
But those are twice the price of this guitar.
Well, and those are also, when you look at modern deluxe, it kind of follows the same pattern. They are not as fancy.
Yeah.
They are stripped down. And you know what? There's actually a beautiful thing about that, kind of being more down to business guitar. So I love a 0018. If I was pushed between these two, I'd probably buy the 0018. That being said, they are decidedly different guitars, even though their specs are the same, scale length's the same. The difference of tonewood, which could be the subtitle for this video, really comes through. And so for you out there, if you're watching this because you're trying to decide between these guitars, depending upon what your need and your preferences, really should determine over aesthetics or anything else, even over price, which one of these guitars you should get. Mm-hmm. I like to go back to Gibson did that interview with Jason Isbell. Mm-hmm. And he's got all these great vintage guitars, and he talked about he usually was a Martin like mahogany guy. He liked mahogany. It was always the loudest guitar. It was always really great. But then he started getting into like some old pre-war Brazilian rosewood Martin triple. Like,
Okay.
must be nice.
Must be nice.
But it was interesting to hear him kind of, deal with it too. Of like, I really love this, but man, I really love this too. So there's a lot to love here. But if you're trying to make a decision, I think there is a very specific choice that's better depending upon what you play. So I would pick that one. Putting you on the spot, which one would you go with?
Today?
Today.
Let's say I got their same exact price. What am I walking out? Because there's a little price difference.
There's a price difference.
Not crazy, and this one's pre-owned, so it's a little bit less. But I'm walking out with the 18 today. Now, if we're talking OMs, that's a whole different story. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting because, I love the 00018. I also, it's not to disparage this guitar. I love this guitar.
It's a mood thing. Day to
It's a
day.
mood thing.
When,
It really
when
is.
you have access to both, they're both great. You know what? I'm going to switch up my answer. For the sound,
Your mood has changed.
This is great. My mood changed. There's something about the aesthetic of the cream binding with the herringbone that is
Very
also
classic.
really, really hard for me to pass up. And Chris is going 18. I'm going just out of spite 28, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Ring it up. I'm taking that one home today.
You know what my favorite thing is about when they redesigned the 28s? Because I'm going to tell you right now, before they redesigned the 28s, I did not like the guitar. It wasn't scallop braced, and I thought it was over braced for a small body. I didn't like it, and I preferred the Eric Clapton version instead. And then they made this change, and outside of the neck shape, it's like the Eric Clapton version.
Yeah.
And it's such a good guitar. So I just adore these. Great guitars.
Yeah.
Tough decision. First world problems. So let us know in the comments which one you would pick. You get to play the game along with us. If you're interested in either of these, you should go to
alamomusic.com. Look at the Martin offerings. Come in the store. Whatever you want. But we got the stuff. We got the standards, and we got other cool stuff coming in very soon.
We do. And in our downtown store, we have a whole Martin wall that they were kind enough to put in, and a Martin room where you can play stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
But we can bring the Martin wall to you if you're out there in Rhode Island.
That's right. They have no Martin walls in Rhode Island.
No Martin walls up there.
I mean, I would guess because it's a small place.
We're going to get such an angry comment like,
Hey, we have Martin walls in Rhode
I
Island.
run Rhode Island music.
So if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more, and we'll see all of you, including the Rhode Islanders, next time.